This is Ava here with Real Time Farms. We're standing here with Jeff from the Crystal Brewery, and we're watching the mashing process right now.
So now it's a little loud. My name is Jeff Cooley. I'm a brewer here for Mcmenamin's Crystal Brewery. I've been in the brewing industry for going on 17 and a half years, and I enjoy it mostly because I like really good beer and I like the creativity in the brewing process. Mcmenamin's is one of the larger brewing companies here in the Oregon, Washington region. They got started in the pub business back in about 1975, I believe it was. Did that for a while, and then when the Oregon liquor laws changed to allow places that could brew and serve their own beer on premise, which was in about 1985, they got into the pub and brewery business. In the early days when they repealed some of the laws that enabled them to carry microbrew beers on the shelves, early on in Oregon's beer history, they weren't able to sell anything that wasn't pasteurized. So a lot of the microbrew beers aren't pasteurized or filtered, and they weren't really available on the shelves here. So when that law changed, that kind of led the way for microbreweries to open up and be able to serve beer on premise. Large-scale production, it's a lot more automated. There's a lot less interaction between the brewer and the batch of beer. And a lot of times in a large-scale brewery, it's a lot more compartmentalized, your job, whereas we handle it through the entire process, from the ordering of ingredients and the milling and the mashing and all that, through the whole fermentation process, through the aging, and even to basically from grain to the tap. It's malted locally up in Vancouver, Washington, right across the river here, by a company called Great Western Malting. And some of the grain is actually grown here in Oregon and Washington. They've actually started a line of barley that they sell to us. It's called Oregon Select or Washington Select, and it's all grown in those regions and malted here locally. But we also do source grain through them from other malt houses, one other one here domestically. And most of the grain, this is not typically a grain growing region, but this region is well known for hops. And all the hops that we use are grown either here in the Willamette Valley or in Washington in the Yakima Valley. And we buy them through a large hop broker called Hop Union, and they work with a lot of different farmers. And basically they sell most of the hops here that are grown domestically in the U.S. come from this region. So we're kind of fortunate in that respect, is that we are close to the source. Here in the Pacific Northwest, I'd say because we're in a really good hop growing region, you tend to get a lot of beers that are hop forward and lean towards the hop profile and not so dependent on the malt part of the flavor of the beer. So I kind of dub it Pacific Northwest style because they lean heavily on hops, whether they're making ambers or pale ales or IPAs, which are known to be hop forward beers. But here in Oregon, they kind of try to take it to the next level on hops. I'm not originally from Oregon. I moved up from California. I like craft brewed beer, but I like a lot more balance. I like to taste the malts and the hops.